Have you ever wondered why some men seem to make a woman think about them constantly, while others do everything right and still get ignored? You send the message, you make the effort, you give attention, you try to be kind, you try to be available, yet somehow she responds less and less. Her excitement fades, her interest feels distant, and the harder you try, the more invisible you become. You've probably asked yourself a painful question. What am I doing wrong? And maybe you've blamed your looks, your age, your confidence, your personality. But what if none of those things were the real problem? I'm glad you're here because today we're going to talk about two powerful words that can completely change the way women experience you. Two simple words, not a pickup line, not manipulation, not some fake alpha performance, something much deeper. I'm here with the Stoic way, where we uncover the real psychology that creates desire. And I'll warn you now, the final one is incredibly powerful. It can change everything fast, and almost no one uses it correctly. Because attraction is rarely about what men think it is. Most men believe attraction is built through effort. Women often experience attraction through emotion. That's a very different game. And if nobody ever taught you that, you were trying to solve the wrong problem from the beginning. This was never your fault. Nobody taught you this. You weren't rejected because you lacked value. You were simply showing your value in a way that her subconscious wasn't wired to notice. That changes everything. Because once you understand the hidden signals women respond to, you stop chasing, you stop performing, you stop trying to convince, and something interesting happens. She starts wondering about you. Let's begin with a simple truth from evolutionary psychology. Human beings make thousands of decisions using mental shortcuts. The conscious mind is slow. The subconscious mind is fast. Long before a woman logically decides whether she likes a man, her brain is already scanning for emotional signals: strength, safety, mystery, presence, purpose, not because she's trying to, because that's how human psychology evolved. The modern world changed, the brain didn't. And when you understand those deep patterns, attraction stops feeling random. You begin seeing the map. The first trigger is masculine presence, not looks, not money, presence. Masculine presence is grounded energy, the feeling that you're comfortable in your own skin. Most men enter a conversation trying to get approval. The attractive man enters a conversation already approving of himself. Imagine you're sitting with a woman at dinner. She pauses before answering. Most men rush to fill the silence. You don't. You stay calm. You stay relaxed. You let the moment breathe. Suddenly she feels something different. Certainty, strength, grounded energy. The message is simple. I am enough. That's attractive. The second trigger is emotional challenge. Women do not remember every compliment. They remember emotions. A playful challenge creates emotional movement. It creates polarity. Suppose she tells you she's always late. Instead of saying, "That's okay," you smile and say, "I figured. You seem like someone who makes clocks nervous." She laughs. Now the interaction has life, not hostility, not criticism, playfulness. Attraction needs tension. A spark needs friction. Be warm, but don't be predictable. The third trigger is selective attention. This one changes everything. Many men give unlimited access to their time, unlimited attention, unlimited availability, and then they wonder why they're taken for granted. Attention is valuable because it is limited. A man with purpose naturally has boundaries. He has goals, responsibilities, a life that matters. Imagine she texts you. You respond kindly, but you're not staring at your phone waiting for her next message. You're building your business, working out, learning skills, living. Your attention becomes meaningful because it isn't free. Scarcity creates value, not because you're pretending, because you're genuinely engaged with life. And here's where the two powerful words begin to emerge. But first, I want you to understand the foundation. Women don't crave attention, they crave meaningful attention. Huge difference. If this is making sense so far, hit subscribe and join the Stoic Way community. It helps more men learn what they were never taught. Now let's continue. The fourth trigger is intentional listening. Most people listen to reply. Very few listen to understand. And women notice the difference immediately. Imagine she casually mentions that her grandmother used to make a particular dessert when she was young. 3 weeks later, the topic comes up again. You remember. Not because you're trying to impress her, because you genuinely listened. Something powerful happens. She feels seen, not observed, seen. The human brain is constantly searching for emotional safety. Intentional listening creates exactly that. It tells her she matters. People forget words. They remember how you made them feel. See deeper, listen better. The fifth trigger is calibrated vulnerability. This one surprises many men. Some men hide everything. Others overshare everything. Neither works. Attraction responds to strength and honesty together. Suppose she asks about a difficult period in your life. You don't pretend you've never struggled. You also don't collapse into self-pity. You simply tell the truth. You explain what happened, what you learned, how you grew. That's calibrated vulnerability. Real, grounded, strong. A tree bends. It doesn't break. The strongest men are honest men. Now we're getting closer to the secret, closer to the two words. Because attraction grows when a woman feels emotional movement. And emotional movement happens when she experiences curiosity. Curiosity is powerful. Curiosity creates attention. Attention creates investment. Investment creates desire. That's where many men lose. They remove all mystery immediately. They reveal everything, explain everything, offer everything. Nothing remains to discover. The sixth trigger is gradual physical touch. Respectful, intentional, natural, never forced, never rushed. Human beings are wired for connection. Physical touch releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, but timing matters. Imagine you're walking together. You guide her lightly around an obstacle. You briefly touch her shoulder while laughing. Natural moments, small moments, human moments. The key is respect. Always. Attraction should never feel pressured. It should feel comfortable. Comfort creates trust. Trust creates closeness. The seventh trigger is controlled unpredictability, and this is the one almost nobody understands correctly. Controlled unpredictability does not mean playing games. It means avoiding emotional monotony. The brain loves rewarding uncertainty. Dopamine is strongly connected to anticipation, not certainty, anticipation. Imagine every conversation follows the same pattern, same compliments, same timing, same energy. The experience becomes predictable. Now imagine something different. One day you share a fascinating story. Another day you're focused on your goals. Another day you invite her into an unexpected experience. The interaction stays alive, fresh, interesting, rewarding uncertainty. That creates emotional engagement. Mystery sustains attention. Now let's reveal the two words. The two words that quietly separate needy men from magnetic men. The two words that communicate confidence, purpose, and emotional strength without saying any of those things directly. Those words are, maybe later. That's it. Maybe later. Simple, but powerful. Most men hear those words and think they sound weak. In reality, they communicate something incredibly attractive. A full life. Think about it. A needy man says yes immediately to everything. Every invitation, every request, every opportunity for attention. His schedule revolves around her. His emotional state revolves around her. His world revolves around her. The attractive man man doesn't reject, he doesn't chase, he evaluates. Maybe later, not now, maybe later. Those words communicate abundance. They communicate purpose. They communicate options. Most importantly, they communicate emotional self-control. Let's go deeper. Suppose she says, "We should hang out tomorrow." Many men instantly jump. Absolutely, anytime, whatever works. Nothing wrong with being enthusiastic. But sometimes that enthusiasm secretly communicates desperation. Now imagine a different response. You smile. You say, "Maybe later. I've got a few things I need to finish first." Notice what happened. You didn't reject her. You didn't play hard to get. You simply demonstrated that your life already has momentum. Purpose first, then pleasure. That matters. Women are deeply attracted to men who have direction, not because of status, because direction signals strength. A man moving towards something is magnetic. Another example. She asks why you haven't been texting constantly. Many men become defensive. They explain, apologize, seek reassurance. Instead, you calmly say, "Maybe later. I've been focused on something important." Again, no games, no manipulation, just reality. The deeper message is this: my life has meaning outside of your approval. That message is incredibly attractive because genuine confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It's calm. It doesn't need validation every 5 minutes. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. The strongest person in the room is often the one least controlled by immediate impulses. Immediate pleasure, immediate approval, immediate attention. When you can delay gratification, people notice, even if they can't explain why. And women notice it especially. Why? Because emotional stability creates safety. A man who can control himself is more attractive than a man who constantly reacts. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever met someone whose entire mood depended on whether another person texted back? It's exhausting. Now think about someone who remains centered, regardless, calm, focused, grounded. That energy feels powerful because it is. And that's what maybe later communicates. Not avoidance, not distance, control. The ability to choose rather than react. This doesn't mean becoming cold. It doesn't mean withholding affection. It doesn't mean pretending not to care. In fact, that's where many men make mistakes. They hear advice about mystery and immediately become emotionally unavailable. Wrong move. Women don't want emotional absence. They want emotional strength. Very different. You can be warm, kind, attentive, present, and still have standards, still have priorities, still have purpose. The goal isn't to make her chase. The goal is to become a man worth chasing. Huge difference. Remember the 7 triggers. Masculine presence, you remain grounded. Emotional challenge, you create playful polarity. Selective attention, you invest your energy wisely. Intentional listening, you make her feel seen. Calibrated vulnerability, you share honestly without collapsing. Gradual physical touch, you create connection respectfully. Controlled unpredictability, you keep the emotional experience alive. Notice something important. None of these require better looks. None require wealth. None require tricks. They're all signals. Signals of who you are. Signals of how you move through life. Signals that your subconscious communicates long before your words do. And that's why the 2 words matter so much. Maybe later. Because underneath those words is an identity. The identity of a man who is building something, creating something, becoming something. A man who values his time. A man who respects his mission. A man who enjoys connection but doesn't depend on it. Women feel that difference. They may never describe it logically, but they feel it. And feelings drive attraction far more than explanations. The beautiful part is that this approach removes pressure. You stop obsessing over every text, every date, every interaction. action. You stop asking, how do I make her like me? And start asking a better question. How do I become a man I respect? That question changes lives. Because when you become that man, attraction becomes a byproduct, not the goal. Women sense when you're trying to take something, attention, validation, approval. They also sense when you're simply sharing who you are. That second energy is powerful, relaxed, confident, authentic. That's where real attraction lives. Not in tricks, not in scripts, not in manipulation. Real tools, used intentionally, used respectfully, used with purpose. So if you've spent years feeling confused, stop blaming yourself. You were never broken. You were untaught. There's a difference, a massive difference. The moment you understand the psychology underneath attraction, everything becomes clearer. You realize women are not responding to perfection. They're responding to emotional signals, signals of strength, signals of purpose, signals of stability, signals of growth. And those signals can be learned, one step at a time, one conversation at a time, one interaction at a time. You don't need perfection. You need strategy. You don't need more tricks. You need awareness. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become more of who you already are, stronger, calmer, more intentional. That's the path. That's the Stoic path. And once you understand it, something shifts inside you. You stop chasing. You stop forcing. You stop seeking permission to feel valuable. Instead, you become grounded, purposeful, focused. The kind of man who naturally creates attraction because his life already has meaning. The kind of man who doesn't desperately ask for attention because he's busy building value. The kind of man who can say, maybe later, because he knows exactly where he's going. Carry that with you. Use these lessons with respect and intention. Remember that attraction is not about controlling another person. It's about becoming the strongest version of yourself. Real tools, not tricks. Real growth, not performances. Real confidence, not masks. That's how lasting attraction is built. Silently, naturally, powerfully. And if you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women genuinely desire, subscribe to the Stoic Way now. Turn on notifications because the next one will shift your reality again.